The story continues. Even more exciting content is coming up. Subscribe as soon as possible. Chapter 70. New clues and exploration at the edge. After learning the news that suspicious spiritual power fluctuations had emerged at the edge of the spirit fantasy realm, Sumu immediately decided to go and investigate. He knew very well that this might be the key clue to uncovering the conspiracy of the Dark Spirit sect. Sumu bid farewell to his grandfather and the people of Linksy Town and led an elite team towards the edge of the spirit fantasy realm. Along the way, Sumu was filled with worry. The conspiracy of the Dark Spirit sect was like a huge black net, enveloping the spirit fantasy realm, and the clues they had grasped so far were just the tip of the iceberg. He didn't know what awaited them, but he firmly believed that only by continuously following the clues could they completely eliminate the threat of the Dark Spirit sect. After several days of traveling, Sumu and his team finally arrived at the border area of the spirit fantasy realm. It was a desolate desert, with flying sand filling the sky and howling winds. In the center of the desert, there was an ancient ruin, and the suspicious spiritual power fluctuations were coming from within the ruin. Sumu and his team approached the ruin cautiously. When they got closer, they found that a faint layer of black mist was miming around the ruin. An evil aura emanated from the mist, making people feel creepy. Sumu circulated his reverse, time spiritual power, trying to disperse the mist. However, the mist was very stubborn, and the reverse, time spiritual power could only make it thinner temporarily. Everyone, be careful. This mist is strange and may hide dangers, Sumu said in a low voice. Everyone closely followed Sumu and stepped into the ruin. The interior of the ruin was dark and damp, and the walls were engraved with strange runes. The runes flickered with a faint light, as if telling ancient secrets. Sumu carefully observed the runes and found that they were similar to those on the scrolls discovered in the Dark Spirit sect's castle. It seems we're in the right place. These runes might help us solve the conspiracy of the Dark Spirit sect, Sumu said. However, before they could explore further, a group of monsters condensed from dark spiritual power suddenly emerged from the darkness. These monsters had different shapes. Some were like giant wolves, and some were like bats. They let out roars and pounced towards Sumu and his team. Sumu quickly drew his spiritual power long sword, circulated his reverse, time spiritual power, and took the lead in facing the enemy. Under the effect of the reverse, time spiritual power, Sumu's figure was as elusive as a ghost. His attacks were accurate and fierce, and each sword strike could cause huge damage to the monsters. The team members also unleashed their respective spiritual power spells and engaged in a fierce battle with the monsters. During the battle, Sumu noticed that although the spiritual power of these monsters was strong, their movement seemed to be restricted in some way, and they could only move within a certain range. Sensing this characteristic of the monster's restricted movement, an idea flashed in Sumu's mind, and he immediately shouted, "Everyone, don't chase too far! Use their restricted movement weakness and attack from the edge." Hearing this, the team members quickly adjusted their tactics. Instead of chasing blindly, they moved around the edge of the monster's activity range and continuously cast spiritual power spells to attack. For a moment, various spiritual power lights shone, and spells rained down on the monsters. Although the monsters resisted desperately under the ingenious attacks of Sumu and his team, they gradually found it difficult to hold on. As the battle continued, the number of monsters gradually decreased, and finally, they all fell to the ground and dissipated into black smoke. After taking a short rest and recovering some of their spiritual power, Sumu and his team continued to penetrate deeper into the ruin. They walked along a narrow passage, and the light of the runes on the walls on both sides of the passage became brighter and brighter, as if guiding their way forward. As they walked, a huge stone door appeared in front of them. The stone door was also engraved with runes, echoing those on the passage walls. Sumu stepped forward and tried to interpret the meaning of the runes. After some effort, he found that these runes seemed to be an ancient sealing spell, and behind the stone door, there might be a key item closely related to the conspiracy of the Dark Spirit sect. Sumu circulated his spiritual power, trying to open the stone door. However, the stone door didn't budge, as if it required a specific method or power to be opened. Just when everyone was at a loss, Sumo suddenly thought of the broken scrolls found in the ruins of the Dark Spirit Sect's castle. He took out one of the fragments and brought it close to the runes on the stone door. Miraculously, the runes on the fragment resonated with those on the stone door, and the stone door slowly opened. A stale and evil aura rushed towards them, and Sumo and his team quickly activated their spiritual power shields to resist. After the aura dissipated a little, they stepped into the space behind the stone door. It was a spacious stone chamber. In the center of the chamber, there was a huge black crystal ball. The crystal ball emitted a strange light, and countless dark forces seemed to be surging inside. Sumo approached the crystal ball, trying to sense the information contained within. When his spiritual power touched the crystal ball, a powerful stream of information poured into his mind. Sumo saw some blurred images. The leader of the Dark Spirit Sect was standing in the center of a huge formation, and around him were a group of black-robed people conducting some kind of evil ritual. The ritual seemed to be to awaken a powerful evil being sleeping deep in a spirit fantasy realm. Once this evil being was awakened, the spirit fantasy realm would face destruction. Sumo told the team members what he had seen, and everyone's faces became extremely solemn. It seems we must stop the Dark Spirit Sect's ritual as soon as possible, or the spirit fantasy realm will be in great danger, Sumo said. However, they didn't know where the Dark Spirit Sect's ritual would be held, and time was pressing. Every moment of delay increased the danger. Just then, Sumo noticed that some fine cracks appeared on the surface of the crystal ball. The dark spiritual power emanating from the cracks became stronger and stronger, as if the crystal ball was about to break. Sumo realized that the Dark Spirit Sect might have detected their actions and wanted to destroy the clues. Everyone, step back! This crystal ball is going to explode? Sumo shouted and led the team members to quickly retreat toward the stone door. Just as they escaped through the stone door, a loud bang came from behind. The stone chamber exploded violently, and a powerful impact shattered the stone door, sending fragments flying. The story continues. More exciting content is coming up. Subscribe as soon as possible.